Hello, internets, you are in the right place because you are watching the Conductor Roundtable for StartupBus Highway Hackathon on Coin. We are back and we're talking about StartupBus being life-changing. So guys, I want to talk about the tech industry in general. You know, we're in another boom. People are getting ridiculous valuations for their companies. Everyone has Ashton Kutcher and Tim Ferriss as an investor. You know, there's a lot of hype around Silicon Valley. There's a lot of hype around technology. And it's still just happening here in Silicon Valley or San Francisco. You know, this is happening in New York and London and, you know, even Africa and South America. So what do we think generally? Is this all hype or is there, you know, this time around there's real revenue? Is this going to be another Silicon Valley bubble? Is the bubble going to pop? Where are we in terms of the internet?
Brandon just took down a fatty investment deal. Let's let him answer.
Yeah, Brandon.
I think we're definitely in a boom. I don't think it's the same as the dot-com bubble. Everyone keeps making that. But if you think back, like the world's completely different now. There were 100 million people total on the internet in 2000. There's like billions now. It's a completely different marketplace. The iPhone didn't exist 7 years ago. You know, it does now. That's a huge part of our business is the idea of crowdsourced labor, which didn't exist, you know, like that idea didn't happen until like 2 or 3 or 4 years ago.
Is the bubble going to pop?
There's a lot of companies being built right now. The general consensus is that there's a lot of companies being built and not all of them are going to raise money and won't be successful. The ones that do are getting very good valuations, but now like it's much easier to grow as a company. You have Facebook as a channel and you have all these social media as a channel, so you can grow faster and get faster, and it seems like they might be overvalued, but it's a different place than it was a few years ago. Some are definitely hype. There's hype in the industry, but I don't think it's a bubble.
A lot of people say that if you want to be a serious entrepreneur, you know, it's all about product. But today we're talking about StartupBus, which is largely network. So what is the difference between product and network?
StartupBus exists in a lot of things like Startup Weekend that, you know, kind of follow a similar format. But StartupBus has always been an exercise in, you know, in learning more about yourself. And to Fallon's point earlier, I mean, it's definitely an exercise in learning more about yourself and what you're capable of. Most people, when they get on the bus, have no concept that they could actually accomplish what they're about to set out to do. And when they finish that, they're amazed at what comes out at the end. Like all they did was just sit there and work for 3 to 5 days. And you know, at the end they have this huge and awesome thing.
When I first got on my first bus, the big thing to me was not that I was able to do it, because I'm kind of an arrogant bastard. I think that I can do whatever the hell I want. But normally in a day-to-day world working with clients and coworkers, most people just suck. And they're just terrible at what they do. They really are. I mean, they're just terrible people. And you always think that you're like this one dung beetle pushing like this ball of shit up a fucking mountain. That's what it feels like day to day. The thing is that when you get on that bus and you get on that team and you've got 5, 6, 7, 8 people who are so enthusiastic and so smart and so dedicated to something that doesn't really mean anything, to be honest. It's a weird vacation. And you are so inspired to be with those people. You're so motivated to, like, when you get back, you're like, holy crap, I did that in 4 or 5 days. You know, I'm either wasting my life doing my dead-end job, or I should be out building something cool.
You know, when I got on the bus, like up till that point, I'd lived a very conservative, like safe life, right? Like I graduated high school, I went to college, I got a job. I was a software developer, you know, I was gonna do that. I was gonna have, you know, kids and a white picket fence and all that. And like I'd done everything very safe up until that point. And then finally the bus was like this thing I really wanted to do. And I was second guessing. I remember like the night before being like, I don't know if I should go on this. And I just jumped in and I did it. And it was like a very pivotal moment for me because I didn't have a place to stay in Austin. Like I got on the bus knowing I'm gonna get off 3 days later and I have nowhere to stay for the next few days. And you know, so you get on the bus and you're with all these people that are doing amazing things and then you figure it out. It's like, you know, learning to fly on the way down. I ended up staying with a bunch of other guys who also didn't have a hotel room or any place, and there were like 8 of us in a room, and that was a new experience for me. But all of this was just kind of like opening up my eyes to like, there's more of the world, there's more to do, there's more to see.
And you just raised nearly $9 million. That's absolutely amazing. So in one sentence, if you were to say, StartupBus changed my life because, Brandon, let's start with you.
It showed me it was possible. Like, You know, none of my friends up until that point had started companies. None of them were entrepreneurs. And I get on this bus with, you know, 26 other people who are already living my dream. Like, that's what I want to do. And they're doing it. And just seeing it made it possible. It's like, you know, the first guy to run the 5-minute mile, like, no one did it. But then after that point, it became possible once you saw it could be done. And that's why StartupBus was just life-changing for me.
Fallon?
I think for me, it helped me really see what my strengths are and also tap into, you know, new strengths that I didn't actually, and skills that I didn't know that I had. I mean, some examples were in terms of just leveraging my network for us to get traction. I didn't know that I was into like media stuff or press or things like that, and those are all things that I definitely.
Which is kind of funny because she's freaking amazing at it.
Yeah, and then I think also, you know, the network itself. I mean, I'm at my company. You know, we're working with one of the engineers that I actually brought onto the bus that I was conducting for this year. I continue to see a lot of the amazing StartupBus, you know, individuals on a day-to-day basis, and we're continually bonded through this experience.
Igor?
When I was living in New York, I didn't have a clear way of moving myself and my family from the East Coast to the West Coast. I didn't know where to start. Literally, after the first StartupBus experience, I had a clear path to San Francisco. Just a little later, I was living in San Francisco, and the first people who came to welcome me on the first night of me and my wife arriving were essentially people sitting here at this round table. So it was absolutely. It changed my life. I'm in a different place, I have a different job, I do different things, and it wouldn't have happened without StartupBus.
Greg?
I'm a little different because one of the guys who works for me I met on the bus. One of our best designer is somebody who we found on the bus. Two of our biggest clients were people who actually worked for bigger clients who are on the bus. So I'm personally quite richer in terms of thanks to the StartupBus. But more than that, I have doubled my friend network. I mean, every single person here is actually my friend. And it's not just like I say that, but when I was in New York, when I'm in San Francisco, he'll take me out. When I'm in San Francisco, he'll take me out. When I'm in Tampa, he'll take me out. When I'm in San Francisco, he'll take me out. She doesn't take me anywhere, but whatever. It's the best summer camp any kid could ever want.
Mitch?
Well, we've often described it as spring break for geeks, but 2011 was when I was introduced to StartupBus. And it was kind of interesting because it was a really kind of weird place in my life personally. You know, I was working a great corporate job, and you know, I was making good money, thought I kind of had it all figured out, and wanted something like just a little bit different and a little bit more. And somebody approached me and asked me if I would be interested in doing this StartupBus thing, and I looked into it. And I was like, you know what, this might be what I need right now. Like, I kind of want to just get something different. Like, you know, I went to school for entrepreneurship. Like, this is really right up my alley. This is something that I totally want. So I put in an application, and I got accepted. And I was like, holy shit, this is kind of cool. Like, this is going to be an awesome experience. After my experience with riding the Miami bus in 2011, like, those people were straight, like, my friends. Like, we were thick as thieves. Like, it was time for... To this day, like, actually, Greg and I are both working on, you know, several high-value contracts right now as we speak together. Like, we take down business together all the time. When I got back from StartupBus in 2011, I kind of had a very different mindset than what I left with. I had post-bus traumatic stress disorder. Like, I wanted more of this, and decided that this is definitely what I wanted more out of my own life, and left my job. And started realizing I was asked to come to an agency because they heard I did this crazy StartupBus thing. And because I did StartupBus, I got this awesome indie racing client and was doing all this other work because people thought this StartupBus thing was really cool. Not only did everything that I do for a living actually change at that point, but I pretty much developed this amazing network, an amazing set of friends who I continue to work with to this day. And I'm often out here just to be close to those people.
Okay, and Elliot, you're the founder of StartupBus. I know that, you know, you worked so hard at this over the years. How has it changed your life?
StartupBus changed my life by ending it 20 years later. My heart's gonna explode.
StartupBus changed my life by making me want to off myself all the time. It's so much stress.
Yeah, it's unbelievable how much stress I've gone through.
That's how suicide notes start.
Yeah.
StartupBus changed my life by...
I tolerate a lot more that I didn't realize I could do before. Like, I've had to deal with issues where We didn't have buses like the day before they left. I had people threatening to drop off 120 people if I didn't pay them 20 grand, the bus proprietor. Like I think the 2012 bus, there were 5 different instances where I genuinely thought we had to cancel the whole event after we had taken money, all that. So that stress, dealing with that and managing it has made me, I think, a stronger person. But the real big thing about StartupBus, and I think this applies to everyone, is that it's a platform and it elevates people. And it's literally been hundreds of people that I've spoken to that have gone through StartupBus that have told me it's changed their life. And you know, I get messages, like just last night, I got a message from someone and he kept saying to me, StartupBus is the reason for his success. And I'm like, dude, it's not StartupBus, it's you. And what StartupBus is, and everyone here that said that StartupBus helped them or changed them, they always had it. They just needed that platform to either get exposure or to push them out of their comfort zone because they were too lazy and they needed to kick up the arse to realize that they had the ability. They just needed to see it for themselves. And I think there's a lot of things that I've grown from with StartupBus, and I think a lot of people that have gone through StartupBus have grown, and it's all due to the fact that it's a platform that accelerates that growth.
Okay, lastly, we're going to finish on success. So I want to know from each of you, just in a sentence, how you all each define success. What does success mean to you? Igor?
Living up to your full potential.
A continuously larger, rare Scotch and bourbon collection.
Mitch?
Success to me is every year hearing the stories of Busprenuers and how StartupBus changed their life and how things are like different for them now.
Alia?
Success for me is seeing an impact on the world around me.
Fallon?
Yeah, I mean, being the change that I wish to see.
Brandon?
Success is owning your own destiny, personally. And professionally, I think, you know, building a lasting company, taking care of employees and customers and all that thing, building something that's awesome. People in Silicon Valley seem to equate success with raising money, and it's not. It's, you know, we raise money, but it's not success. It's like we convince people to believe in our vision, and, you know, they gave us money, and now we're gonna go be successful. Like, we're gonna go build something lasting. We're gonna go build something of value. But
success is also not selling a company. Success is the experience of that journey that you're going to have, and it's having like a life that's rich and going up that life. That's where you get the satisfaction.
Yeah, after being able to eat, clothe yourself, and be secure in where you live, not being bored is the measure of success.
Great. Well, I think the lesson that I've learned tonight is that, you know, when it comes down to it, business is all about people. And the more relationships you can build with people, the more successful you can become. And it sounds to me like StartupBus is a wonderful platform for being able to meet new people and build those relationships. You can live an okay life sitting on YouTube watching this video, or you can get off your ass, get on StartupBus, and live a fantastic, amazing life. You can be the next Steve Jobs, you can be the next Mark Zuckerberg, you can be whatever you want to be, but it starts with building a network. So apply for StartupBus TV. So thank you all very much for joining us today, and hopefully we'll be back for another beer and laughs very, very soon.
Awesome.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. See you next time.